Hey guys, Dom here, back again with another Bethesda video. That's right, I am back in full force after my Christmas break. I hope you all had an amazing holiday season. And with that, today I want to go over some brand new pieces of information regarding some design details on Bethesda's future titles, i.e. Starfield and The Elder Scrolls 6. Now, since Starfield's announcement back in 2018, Bethesda have been keeping a tight lip on any design details regarding their brand new adventure, and with only our real solid pieces of information coming from Todd Howard himself. And with that, so far there have been no leaks or any internal pieces of information being put out there, unlike the major leak back in 2013 from gaming outlet Kotaku, who leaked actual voiceover audition scripts revealing characters, mission designs, and the discovery of the game's setting in Boston, which was of course for Bethesda's last single player title, Fallout 4, roughly 2.5 years before its initial release. To which I'm guessing since then Bethesda have tightened their grasp on information leaving the workplace and would have most likely enforced stricter rules and legal action towards those who would seek to break or leak said information. So I was surprised to see that Bethesda veteran and lead designer over at Bethesda Game Studios Rockville, Maryland, presented an event in where he talks about the design aspects of The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, Fallout 4, and the present project Bethesda are working on, to which we all now know to be Starfield. Now, it is interesting to see that this information is coming from Emil Pagliarulo, as we know that Emil is the design lead for Bethesda's next IP, Starfield, as we can see via Emil's Twitter page. Now, this event was pretty recent, taking place in Norway on December 19th, 2019, only a few weeks ago. And it's within this hour or so presentation where Emil hints towards things coming to the company's brand new adventure. Now, I'm not going to cover this whole presentation, but if you do want to check out the full video for yourself, I will leave it linked down in the description below. But we start off with Emil talking about various design aspects for each major city within Skyrim, going over the initial design documents, talking about how Bethesda design their worlds and the starting points for each game. For example, Emil talks about how a lot of Skyrim city designs stem from many influences like the Lord of the Rings series, Game of Thrones art pieces, and many Nordic cities and traditions. In this presentation, Emil also dives into his original design documents, showing off all the references he would then later bring to Todd Howard before full production started in 2008. Now, throughout this presentation, Emil also elaborates on not only the design of each city, but how Bethesda since the production of Skyrim have been doubling down on the life within those cities, and how Bethesda look at how players interact with NPCs throughout their worlds. And it's here where Emil hints towards what things Bethesda are working on for this current project. Again, not just talking about the design aspects of the NPCs within the world, but how Bethesda are working towards creating a, in quotes, advanced simulation with their worlds. A fully realized world in which NPCs live out their own lives and have their own responsibilities, and how depending on your interactions with these people, or the lack thereof, the world carries on, for better or for worse, and how they currently have advanced technology to create interesting situations and random encounters which won't only affect your experience, but could affect multiple regions around the map or worlds. As an example, Emil also talks about a development term Bethesda use called handling. Now, handling is in layman's terms player choice, and how Bethesda alter their worlds based on your choices and your actions with certain individuals. Emil also hints towards this being a major focus currently over at Bethesda Game Studios right now, which in my eyes is great to hear, as one of the major complaints with Fallout 4 was the lack of player choice, or the illusion of choice. and how it was also lacking meaningful RPG elements that was normally a staple of previous Bethesda titles. And with the success of Obsidian's The Outer Worlds being praised for its extensive amount of player choice and dialogue options, it's good to see Bethesda seemingly going back to their roots with more creations surrounding player choice and in terms a more cohesive world or worlds. He also references as an example of handling the opening moments of the city of Markarth, where upon entering the city, a woman in the marketplace is attacked by a Reachman, a group once native to Markarth, and how the events of this opening scene can play out differently depending on, again, player choice, in where you could either let the person die and chase after said killer, or you could intervene and stop the attack from ever happening altogether. Emil also talks about Bethesda's design when it comes to scheduling NPCs. For example, if this killer were to run free after the attack, the programming within said NPC would allow that person to then go on and attack more citizens over time. He also references the outcome of one of the first major quests within Fallout 3 regarding Megaton, and how if you deactivate the bomb for Lucas Sims, but then he is then killed within action, the question proceeds, how does the player proceed? So Bethesda would then create these situations or outcomes within their games in where, let's say, his son would then proceed to award you after his father's death. And again, Bethesda are currently looking into all of these outcomes and all of these situations to your actions within their future titles more intently as of late. Now, lastly, Emil talks about the development spaces within their worlds, and how for many areas within Skyrim, cities would have much smaller districts dotted around said cities. But as development was pushing forward, a fair few of the larger cities throughout the concepting stages of Skyrim were cut due to time and the limitations of the older generation of systems and hardware, where cities like Winterhold were originally fully fleshed out, with diverse open districts filled to the brim with about 50 or so NPCs just within Winterhold alone. Emil then goes on to elaborate that this sort of design was changed for a much more cohesive city design for Fallout 4, with multiple giant open cities within the much larger landscaped areas of Boston, helping the game render much larger locations without having to sacrifice content or remove/scale down certain areas. Now, the reason I bring this up is that lastly, Emil hints towards all of these design choices regarding Bethesda's locations, world building, lore building, and more importantly, player choice, becoming a major focus to this day, and how all of these aspects have now been enhanced by Bethesda's newest piece of technology, to which it will be very interesting to see just how Bethesda utilizes this brand new piece of technology and how they can finally truly flesh out their worlds for games like Starfield and of course The Elder Scrolls 6. But what do you guys think? Are you happy to hear Emil talk about Bethesda focusing more on player choice? Let me know in the comments down below. Best ones get featured in the credits of these videos. And if you liked this video, hit VATS on that like and subscribe button. And as always,
what was really helpful for me doing this talk is remembering all these lessons, because, you know, opening scenes and NPCs, and even right the day before I left to come here, ended up working with a design team on the project we're working on now to like revisit some of the stuff we're working on and use these lessons learned.